but a lot of the roles that you were a part of required an immense amount of leadership, not always the same approach, right? MTL, flight attendant, you're dealing with VIPs and everything's got to go right. Honor
Right.
guard, they expect it to be perfect. A lot of scheduling behind the scenes. The airmen are
Right.
faced with death every day. How do you keep them motivated? They're fighting with each other, or someone's, there's always something going on. So I just kind of want to hear about your leadership philosophy, especially like with where you're at now with honor guard and kind of what your approach is.
I honestly, for me, it's really treat people the way that you want to be treated, right? Like treat everybody with respect, like respect differences. It's okay to not look at things the way that I look at things. It's okay to not um, feel how I feel about certain things, but at least be able to have the discussion. For me, one of my leadership philosophies is care, right? So all you need to do to really get through to people is care. But it's not just in the context that you take it of caring. Like care for me is an acronym. So you start off with the C and you have compassion. Just having compassion towards the situation and understanding that everybody always has something going on. There's never a day that there's a person who's not dealing with something, from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. Somebody's always dealing with something. And so just being mindful of that and showing compassion to things that people are going through. Then you get into the A, which is really about your accountability and your attitude towards the problems, right? Like, so hold yourself to the same standard and higher than that you would ask of your airmen, that you would ask of your NCOs. For me, if I am asking them to go out and crush it every day, I damn sure better be able and willing to do that myself. Like one of my mentors has always stuck with me. She told me, if you are too small to do the big things, if you're too big to do the small things, you're too small to do the big things, right?
Hmm.
So just looking at, you want to do all the big stuff, but you're not willing to do the small stuff. So if you're too big to do the small things, then you're too small to do the big things. And that's always stuck with me. So just being accountable and watching your attitude as to how you approach things. Like prime example right now, we're going through the whole COVID thing and the mandatory vaccines, and some people have really strong feelings. So, you have to tiptoe that line and be aware and cautious about how you interact and just do certain things. But for me, it's about, hey, I need to, there's one of them now, the 1-year-old. So, it's about just understanding and realizing like, hey, just because you view things one way doesn't mean that everybody is going to view things the way that you do. And there's times where MSgt Manson sees things like this, but LaKeith sees things like this, right? So for me, prime example, LaKeith says, hey, if you don't want to get vaccinated, that is on you. That is your thing. I'm going to do what's best for me and my family and those around me, the people I care about. That's just my belief. I'm not going to fault you if you don't want to do it or whatever else the case may be. That's fine. MSgt Manson says, hey, you are now no longer worldwide deployable. You're not able to go do the things that we need and require you to do, even though those things have to happen. And, it's difficult, it's tough, but, it is what it is. And like I said, you have to be able and willing to have that tough conversation. And then you get into the R, which is always respect and responsibility. So being able to have those tough conversations, but being respectful of people's thoughts and their feelings and, just how you are interacting and engaging with them. And you have a responsibility to uphold, right? For me as a father, there's never a moment that's not in the back of my mind that I'm responsible for somebody's son, daughter, mother, father, brother, sister. So that resonates with me, right? Like that really means something to me that, hey, I have these people that I am truly responsible for. So I have to be able to do that. And then, you get into the E of just being empathetic and understanding like, hey, everybody has stuff going on. Say hi. Say
Oh
hi.
my God, that is the cutest little baby I've ever seen.
Say hi.
Oh my God.
No, go get in bed. Go see mommy. It's like, no, you should already be asleep. So the empathy piece is, like I said, it's one of those things where I don't need you to feel sympathy for me. I don't need you to feel bad, but I need you to recognize that, hey, you may or may not understand what I'm going through, and just be empathetic to that. Like, hey, this guy is dealing with stuff.
Yeah, man. It's in an honor guard, you need all those things, like times 10.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
And I've seen a lot of leaders that lack a lot of those things, and they're in a special duties, situation where there's like one of you and tons of airmen, and just really fall flat on their face trying to, rule with an iron fist.
Exactly. And that does not always work. So, like I said, you have to be cautious how you navigate stuff. And that iron fist approach, sometimes you have to use it, but if that is your go-to all the time, you are destined to fail.
Oh, for sure. And my replacement, Sergeant Walters, at the Whiteman Honor Guard, the first thing I told him, and he told me that this was the best piece of advice that I told him, was basically that there's one of you in 60 of them, 60 a year.
Right.
One of you in 60 airmen. You in charge is just an illusion. You're not in charge. You got to make them think you are, but you're really not. And so, like, you have to tote that line of setting the standards and ensuring that they follow those standards, while also being a mentor and empathetic towards whatever they're going through.
Absolutely.
Because as soon as you lose that side and you're just full throttle, rule with an iron fist, like, they're going to turn on you. And, when you have 60 airmen saying this guy needs to go, the people are their leadership's going to listen to that. And you're going to have a serious problem on your hands.
Exactly. That is a true statement.
And be their mentor, like, approach it that way, be their coach, be their biggest fan.
It's funny that you bring that up. It's like being their biggest fan, because that's one of the things that, and it's probably weird for some, but as a leader, like, loving my airmen and NCOs is a real life thing for me. And they hear me tell them, like, hey, I genuinely love you guys. And they know that, because they understand that with love comes discipline. So if I have to discipline you, it is because I love you. It's no different than with my children. It's, I have to correct this, but we're going to get past this. This too shall pass, and we will figure out how to navigate this, and we will work from there. We will grow. We will be better and do what we need to do. But like I said, it is, at the same time, it's like, all right, better. Like, you know what you're doing. I love you, but I gotta do what I have to do. But in that same vein, hey, you guys are crushing it. Now I'm out here with the pom-poms. I'm gonna be your biggest cheerleader. I'm gonna be at your ALS graduation. I'm gonna be, wherever you allow me to. So